What's up, y'all? My name is Jesse with Greatt Builds, and in today's video I'm going to show you how to build an outdoor bench in just under 30 minutes. For this build, all you're going to need tool-wise is some type of saw, a drill, tape measure, and a pencil, which makes this bench a very beginner-friendly build. Material-wise, all you'll need is 4 2x8x8 pressure-treated boards along with 2.5-inch deck screws. To start out, I like to get all of my main cuts out of the way, and I'll be sure to give you some detailed cut lists throughout the video. For your cuts, you'll need to cut 4 boards at 48 inches, then you'll need a full-length board cut at 30 degrees off the end, then measure 38 inches from the pointed end to cut another parallel 30-degree angle. You can either just repeat this process for the next leg or use it as a template and trace it over the other board. For the shorter legs, you'll get another full-length board and cut a 40-degree angle off the end, then measure 19 inches from the pointed end and cut a 45-degree angle off that measurement. So go 40 degrees, 19 inches, and then 45 degrees. Now we are going to add a tapered end to the back of these legs, and here's a quick diagram of how it'll look. To do so, just measure 4.5 inches on the top side and then measure 21 inches along the vertical side of the board. Use a straight edge to connect your lines and cut off the excess. This will give a bench a nicer look as well as creating a good spot for your backrests to be attached to. Now let's attach these legs. Here are the measurements of where the legs will be attached exactly. Just start by grabbing the longer back legs and measure 5 3/8 inch from the back side of the board, then measure 12 1/4 inch from the front side. Then grab a scrap piece of wood to help keep your legs flush with each other while you line up the shorter legs to the measurements. Once they are lined up, place 4 to 5 deck screws to attach these legs together. Now, just repeat this process with the other legs, but be sure to flip them around so that the inside of each leg is the shorter leg. To attach the seat boards, I used one of the seats as a spacer to make the legs the correct distance from each other. Then I grabbed another 48-inch board and placed it on the shorter legs and secured it in place, but I'll hang the board off the edge about 1.5 inches to make it a little deeper. To attach the first board, I used 2 2.5-inch screws on either end. Next, just grab the board you just used as a spacer and place it right behind the first board. I decided not to have a gap in between the boards as this bench will be sitting outside in the sun and the gap will form naturally as the boards shrink. To add some extra support, you can place screws on the outside as well to hold up the back end of the seat board. Now, to attach the backrest, I've placed 2 screws on both ends just to make it a little easier when setting up the first backrest. This will make it really easy if you do not have a helper to hold up the board. Just wedge the first board in, keeping it flush with the top end of the legs, and place 3 screws on either end. Now just repeat the process with the final backboard, and you may need a mallet to get it set in as it may be a little tight. After this step, I decided to grab my router with the rounder a bit to knock down any sharp or rough edges along the bench. This is completely optional, but I feel like it gives the bench a smoother look as well as prevents any future splintering. Then I grabbed my sander with 180 grit sandpaper and hit all of the parts of the bench that will get the most attention. This bench is really customizable as it could be stained or painted to match any design you have currently. This specific bench will be placed by my garden, so I'll just leave it in its natural look. I'll be sure to leave the cut lists at the end of this video as well to make it really easy to find. I really appreciate you watching this video, and if you haven't already, please consider subscribing and liking this video, as I will be uploading a lot more fun DIY beginner videos as well as a bunch more reviews. Thanks again for watching. Take care.